substitute arbitration for law. 6. Weishaupt, financed by Rothschild, had begun infiltrating the well-established Continental Order of Freemasons with this satanical doctrine. Weishaupt recruited 2,000 agents, the most intelligent men in the field of arts and letters, education, science, finance, and industry. Weishaupt instructed these well-paid individuals on the best methods of bribing, manipulating and controlling people in the press. 7. Weishaupt reorganized the Illuminati by May 1, 1776. The word Illuminati, derived from Lucifer, means holder of the light. The plan deceptively uses the phrase peace on earth and necessitates the destruction of all existing governments and religions through a process of dividing the masses into opposing camps in ever-increasing numbers on political, social, economic, and other issues. People would fight and weaken themselves and gradually destroy national governments and religious institutions. 8. Mayer and Gutley had 5 daughters and 5 sons. The sons were well tutored in the family business and were imbued with the same spirit of cunning and conquest. Ultimately, Mayer's sons established or were positioned in banks and key European locations: Amschel Mayer 1773–1855, in Frankfurt; Salomon Mayer 1774–1855, in Vienna; James Mayer 1792–1868, in Paris; Kalman Mayer 1788–1855, in Naples; and Nathan Mayer 1777–1836, the most gifted, in London, where he founded the Rothschild banking dynasty. Nathan created a system of worldwide debits and credits and a new technique for floating international loans. 9. Kalman Karl became head of the occult group, the Alta Vendita. 10. The sons were wizards of finance and fiendish calculators who were motivated by a demonic drive to succeed in their secret undertakings. Regularly, Mayer recited from the Talmud while his entire family sat raptly attentive. They courted no friendships but used people as temporary stepping stones in furthering political alliances that were profit-motivated. Marriages, if not near incestuous, were arranged with the intent of preserving the Rothschild fortune. Later, as the Rothschilds gained respectability, though some viewed them as uncouth, they intermarried within other banking families. In 1785, Mayer moved his family into a 5-story house at 148 Judengasse, Frankfurt. The Schiff family, also bankers, shared this home. Jacob Schiff married Solomon's daughter. 11. Mayer had ingratiated himself to the right people and in 1769, became a court agent for Prince William IX of Hesse-Kassel, who was the grandson of George II of England, a cousin to George III, a nephew of the King of Denmark, and a brother-in-law to the King of Sweden. Before long, the House of Rothschild became the go-between for big Frankfurt bankers like the Bethmann brothers, and Ruppel and Harnier. 12. Prince William, an extremely successful human flesh dealer and Rothschild, his agent, rented out troops to Europe's royal families. A favorite customer, the British government, needed 16,800 Hessian soldiers for which they paid the equivalent of $3 million, but, before the soldiers could be paid for their services, William was forced to flee to Denmark, leaving the money in Mayer's care for safekeeping. Mayer viewed this money as a fortuitous business opportunity and eventually gave the blood money to Nathan, who by 1809, had set up shop as a London banker. He invested at least £800,000 in gold from the East India Company. 13. Prince William, an early Blackwater-style, rent-a-troop entrepreneur, had amassed a huge fortune by the time he died. Apparently, citizens rejected the low slave soldier wages and resisted recruitment. Hired guns cost more but are not culpable to government, increase enemy body counts for governments that actually count, and enrich government-friendly corporate cronies, a benefit at election time. Rumsfeld and Franks, earlier on, reminded Americans that we don't do body counts. 14. Those Hessian soldiers would be used against the American patriots who were tired of the excessive taxes extracted by the British to pay for their endless wars and decided to expel the British and demand their independence, which led to the Revolutionary War. Alexander Hamilton, a Rothschild agent, convinced George Washington to have the Rothschilds finance the war. In 1791, with a big war debt to be paid, Hamilton set up a central bank, owned by the Rothschilds and other foreigners, called the First Bank of the United States with a 20-year charter. Andrew Jackson later referred to them as a den of vipers. 15. Congress rejected renewal of the charter and the bank was closed on March 4, 1811, which ignited Rothschild's wrath. He had controlling stock. He declared either the application for renewal of the charter is granted, or the United States will find itself in a most disastrous war. He then ordered British troops to teach these impudent Americans a lesson. Bring them back to colonial status. This brought on the War of 1812, our second war with England, which facilitated the rechartering of the Bank of the United States. The war raised our national debt from $45 million to $127 million. 16 When Nathan Rothschild asked the British Parliament to declare war, the Prime Minister objected. He was assassinated by a lone gunman on May 11, 1812. Parliament declared war on June 18, 1812. British troops burned the White House and other government buildings, including the one that housed the ratification papers for the United States Constitution. President Madison, a perceptive politician, proposed the establishment of a second central bank on December 5, 1815, which was created by Congress on January 7, 1817. Nicholas Biddle, a Nathan Rothschild prod, became the bank president in 1822. Mayer died on September 19.